Hi, everybody. Well, we're almost to the end of COM 131. It's getting very close. I think maybe 3 weeks or less until the end of the semester. So I wanted to just talk about a few things, and I hope you will take the time to listen to the entire thing. I'll try to keep it short, but I might go 10 or 15 minutes, so I'll try. Anyway, first of all, thank you so much for doing such a great job all semester. I really appreciate your effort. I appreciate that you asked questions and you asked for clarification about things, and you shared so well with your fellow students. I really appreciate that feedback, and I know that they did. Many times I'll have students say, I loved what so-and-so did in their speech. It helped me understand mine. And that's really, I think, important. I also appreciate that you put yourself out there giving your own speeches. And, I know it's not always easy, but you've done a great job. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. And I'm so happy I've been your instructor. The next thing I wanted to share is just to think back to the beginning and to where you are today. For a 100 level speech class, my goal to you has been to gain confidence. And one way you do that is, that fear of the unknown, which is stage fright, is to reduce that. And one way to reduce it is to learn, what's the format? How do I put together my speech? Intro, body, conclusion. But how do I fine tune it if it's, just a favorite place or activity? What if it's to inform? And now, of course, we're on persuasion. What should I do to make a good demo, etc. So that's part of it. And then the practice of giving that speech. It might help you to speak up in your personal life. It might help you in a classroom or on a job, even in your community. So those are very important skills, I think, to get confident with and develop. And I have to say, I'm really pleased with how well you're all doing. I know that sometimes you're your own worst critic, so be careful of that, because you might think, oh, I didn't do well. But the way you sound when you give your speeches sounds very good, and I really like that. I wanted to tell you, too, that remember, this class isn't just about what you have done and you do. It's about learning from what others have done. So every time you've given a speech, if you've critiqued all the people in your group or even other people in the class, you've heard a lot of other ways to share information, other topics and interests. In the classroom, face-to-face, you would hear everybody's speech, okay? So unfortunately, I don't require you to listen to everybody's speech because I know you're not going to. It's just a lot of time when you're online, and I get that. So I do try to have you listen to at least 4 or 5 speeches and more when you can. But hopefully you are getting that, gee, other people have a different way to give an introduction or give a conclusion, or they showed a cool visual aid. And those are things that you can take with you that you've learned too. So far we've done the informative thing, favorite place or activity. We've done some impromptus. We've done the speech to inform with research to back it up. We've done a demonstration, which is to show a process or a procedure, how to do it. We've done those kinds of things, and now we've been moving to the important part of a persuasive message. I had 2 semesters in college on just persuasion. We're doing 1 speech. So I just wanted you to get introduced to a few of the basic things. One is understanding your target audience. There will always be people against you no matter what you say. That person you say, oh, it's so nice out today. I think it's cold. And you're like, oh my God. There's always that person. There are other people that just go along to get along, and they're, yeah, sure, that sounds good. And then there are other people that you might aim your message for. And that could be an advertisement, a product, a service, or an idea that you are like, I wanted you to understand, how this could benefit you. I think you should do this. So you get an idea of your target group and kind of go from there. So for us, I never consider classrooms artificial. I know people say, well, it's an artificial audience. Not really, because look how much you learn from one another. I know I do every single semester, but I think it's just an important reminder that, people are there and they're going to listen to you. And if you prepare your message in an effective manner and you consider to whom you're speaking, you can be very successful, all right? Because you can supply the examples that they might need, reasoning that might work better, and things of that nature, okay? So with this, I wanted to mention a couple other things about the persuasive speech. I talked to you about a fact of the speech is a speech of fact, value, and policy. That's the basic thing that speeches to persuade look at. They give you facts, and then they want you to draw the same conclusion. This would be like the Bermuda Triangle. I think that there is, the lost city of Atlantis and it sucks everybody in. Okay, well, that isn't really the truth, but that is something that has even been on a special. Like maybe there's electric current in the air and this has caused it and on and on. Anyway, then there's a speech of value. What I believe in this and I think you should too. And here are the reasons why. A policy speech is specifically about action, but you get to action through reasoning and through saying, this is why I think you should do what you should do. That's just a very brief overview of how persuasion approaches messages, okay? And of course, again, considering the audience and understanding that each person is unique. We all have our own sets of experiences and interests and values and beliefs. So how do we come together and focus and try to get that message, to other people? So I try to give you feedback on all of your outlines, and I hope you read that, and I know most of you do. And I'll just say, maybe you should put this in, or you might want to consider that. And this might be a counterpoint you could include. And sometimes you don't need any counterpoint. So read those comments because that might help you as you're putting your final speech together. And I did go through all the outlines the last few days, and they're all in with comments, okay? So what I want to tell you about the persuasive speech is be sure that you are using the persuasive language. There's a thin line between giving information and then persuading people with that information. But here is a key word. It takes information, because a good persuasive message always takes the idea that you have evidence, reasoning, credibility, and then an emotional appeal. So 3 things to the head: evidence, reasoning, and credibility, and then to your heart. And that's why you see pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to help with that. Like those pet commercials, always like, oh my God, the poor pet. And, things like that. It's a tug on your emotion, but they also give you the facts, values, and reasoning. Let's say that I said, listen, I can invest your money and make you a fortune. Today, this day, in this economy, all I need you to do is send me $500 and I'm going to turn that around for you in 60 days. Now, hopefully you're going to say, Mrs. Welliver, you're nuts. You're crazy. You can't do that. Have you looked at the markets? Have you looked at what's going on in our economy? We're almost in a recession, not happening, and you're not going to send me $500. But some people give into an emotional appeal, like, look at how much more money you're going to make, and then you'll be financially safe, and then you'll be, it's got to be something that people think is workable. So maybe I tell you instead, listen, start saving your change today. My parents always did that. Every year they'd end up with about $1,300, and they always took, which seems like a crazy amount, but it was. My dad, every dollar change. And then you take a great vacation with it. Maybe you save, like we keep our car insurance, we take that out and keep it separate, so we're never surprised with that $2,000 bill, for all those cars. We're like, oh my God, So we've got the money. So maybe there are different approaches to reason with you that you can control your money, for example, to take care of things. Instead of giving it to me, and then I tell you I'm going to make you a lot of money, and really, I might not. Okay, so here are some of the ideas that I've heard people share for this semester that they're going to give their speeches on, and I don't want to give them all away, so I'm just going to give some general ones. And the only thing I put in there is be sure that you keep your persuasive language. You should do this. I want, something like that. You use that word. I urge you. I challenge you. And then the body of your speech is either something like, hey, listen, this is a reasons why speech where I'm just giving reasons. This is a problem solution speech where I'm going to explain the problem and then give you the solutions and why the solutions might work. And, just maybe a policy speech where I want you to do this and this is the action I need you to take. And again, here's why. You've got to explain that so people get evidence, reasoning, you're the credibility or something you can supply in your message that they'll understand and think you are somewhat credible in that. And then finally, maybe some kind of an emotional appeal. All right. So here are some of the speech ideas. So we had things like, I'm going to put in, be a global citizen. I mean, I try to avoid giving opinions on public issues because My job is not to influence you. My job is for you to become a critical thinker and make your own decisions. But I don't think we can ignore what's going on in the world today. You shouldn't ignore what's going on in the world today. So becoming a global citizen is important. You need to know it affects you. It affects you every single day. It affects people you know. So be aware of what's going on, especially in the Ukraine today, and what can you do? I gave to World Food Organization, UNICEF. Those are two places that I really consider credible, and I think they'll do okay with my money. So that's something I wanted to do. But I'm just going to throw it out there. Become a global citizen. I had people talk about the importance of meditation and why you should meditate. That's a great idea. Why you should do yoga or do a sport. Reasons why you might want to work out or even just go for a walk. Reasons that you should turn off your TV or electronic sources. It really is calming if you think about it to just have a quiet household. And that's an idea. I had people talk about eating organic, why you should do that. Let me see what else I have down here. Learning life skills or bringing back home ec. And that's so true. I didn't know how to write a check until I got a job. I think I was it was after high school and I got a job. I did not know anything about a check. I never had to know about a check. I never had a class in high school about a check. And this was years ago, okay? So I'm like, oh my God, don't know how to write a check. I had to find that out. So it would have helped if I would have known that, besides making a jumper in, 8th grade middle school, which was so far ago and never did me any good. But that's something that I thought was some great ideas a couple people mentioned. Encourage people to read, become a reader, be a volunteer, start bike riding, take a swimming class, take care of your health. Don't text anymore, just call people. Recycle. Avoid fast fashion. There's just so many topics out there, and all I'm asking you to do is when you look at your speech and you read my comments, be sure you're including, here's the problem, here's the solution, and here are the reasons why, or here are reasons why I feel that all of you should do this. And I understand it's a benefit. So if you said there are benefits to this, that's informative. But if there's a reason why you should do it, then that sounds to me much more persuasive, and that's how a persuasive message would sound. The other thing is, at the end of a speech, you should give a quick sum, but you can always call for action, and it can be passive action or like active. Like you can say, okay, I want you to think about this, and if we ever have a chance to vote on it, you should vote on that, okay? If you, or maybe a homeowner, like, you don't think about the need for a carbon monoxide detector, and then you get a home, and believe me, you better have one, okay? And never, ever put a generator in your home, basement, or garage. Do not do that, okay? I had a student die from that. It was a terrible, terrible thing. So, okay. Then the other thing you could do is if you need somebody to take action immediately, you can say, listen, give blood this Saturday at 10 a.m. until 5. The American Blood Cross is going to be there giving blood. Sign up, get in there, help one another. You might also offer incentives like free t-shirt. Like Red Cross sends me this all the time. We're going to give you a $10 Amazon card. We're going to give you a t-shirt. It's a great incentive. I don't care if I get it or not. But hey, $10 for Amazon is $10. So hey, if I can get it, I'll take it. But I did it before they gave incentives, so I think it's something we can consider. Other than that, I just wanted to mention that I have opened up for the rest of the semester, not only for you to give your persuasive speech, but for you to also give your tribute. Your tribute is just a 2 to 3 minute speech, and it is to a person, place, or even an event that has made a difference in your life. Usually these are personal. Usually this is grandma, grandpa, a friend, a coach, something that is very important to you. So, think of what you want to talk about. And again, it's almost like reasons why they mean something to you, and you want to share that. In your final speech, it's also nice to maybe include a picture if you can. I think that's nice. If you ever do slideshows, just keep it to 4 to 6 slides. Don't overwhelm your audience. Also, for your persuasive speech, don't forget to refer to 3 sources and include a visual aid, a chart, a graph, a video clip, or something. So you're going to see that this is all opened. I try to be very understanding of technical problems, so I have done things like, sure, I'll give you more time, and I try to take things from email. I get it, that kind of stuff happens, but we're running out of time. So get everything in. Once the class closes on, I think it may be Friday the 29th. I'm sorry if I don't have the right day, but I think if the class closes at 5. This is Mott closing it, not me. I don't have any control over that. So get everything in. I've opened it up. You also have to do a quick reflection or a self, kind of like a self-review of how you felt about the class, a self-evaluation, and get that to me. So I just want to thank you for everything. Hope you've had a great semester. I've certainly enjoyed having all of you in class. I wish I could meet all of you in person, but I'm here if you ever need anything. Feel free to reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.